Okay, YouTuber, what you're looking at is the first head is already assembled. This valve spring right here is the one I had to add the 15,000 shim. And this morning I double checked it with the 15,000 shim. It came in right exactly at 1/800 installed. If your guys are planning on running roller rocker arm, make sure you look at the design of that rocker arm and make sure that front roller wheel on the tip protrudes enough out of that rocker body so that it can make proper contact with the valve. I am not running a top hat one-piece locator positive seal combo. The first thing we have to do before we put our positive seals on is put our locators on. Because once you put your positive seals on, you're not going to be able to put your locator on because the hole in the locator is smaller than the seal. Since we did all our homework yesterday on our 8 comp cam Viton seals, as far as having the two-piece locator seal, making sure we have our locators on first before we put our seals on, put just a hair of lubricant on the top of the guides just to kind of help that Viton seal go on, because it goes on really tight. I got my locators on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to start putting on our seals. Once it makes that tinky, what I call tinking sound, then you know it's all the way on. I fight these on a little bit. In the past, I've used the 12mm spline drive, but today it just seemed like this wasn't, I don't know, I'll try one for you. This is a 12mm spline drive. Be very careful. See, that one went on. It actually did better. The biggest thing is getting it started straight. It usually goes right on. You can see it going down. I hope you guys can see it. And what you can do when you get done is use a real bright flashlight and look through the tops of your positive seals, and right below this sealing lip, you'll see the top of your valve guide. Like that one, you could feel it bottom out. If you listen to it, it has like a tink. You can tell that that thing is seated all the way down, so you're good to go. So we'll take it, wipe that off. And you can see, using that spline drive, where it touches the metal part of your positive seal, but it does not hurt the important part. I have a mixture of motor oil and STP oil treatment. What I do is put just a little squirt down each of these guides. Don't use a ton. I just want to make sure the valve stems are lubricated. Now, one thing you do not do, you do not put assembly lube inside your valve guides on startup. Just kind of lubricate those up a little. Now we're able to have our actual valve seals that we're going to use in the assembly hold everything. Combination STP and oil I put in my valve guides runs down fairly freely, which is good. Go to assemble this, make sure you check your valve sealing surface, make sure there's no burrs, no gunk, no rust, no pitting. Your receiver groove for your lock, make sure you run your finger around it, make sure it's in good shape. Send it home. Positive seal that you put on there is going to hold the valve enough so that we can get some valve springs on here. Assembling a head is not really that big of a deal as long as you've done your homework and you have everything preset to where you know you're good to go. All your homework first. Get in there, tight dog. Everything needs to be lubricated. Have a valve spring compressing tool that screws into the bosses on the head. I highly, highly recommend that you always start those with your fingers so that you do not run into a really bad day and strip out one of those holes. So we're going to use the Comp 862's. These are the second design, the newer design, because I think some of the original ones had some issues. And you can always tell these because they're, I don't know, what is that, electroplated or something. So then what I do is put my little crossbar on here, start getting everything lined up. Now here's a perfect example. This valve is standing proud or standing up, and this one's dropped down. So all you have to do is take a little wash rag or shop rag, whatever you have available, roll it up, and try to get hold of this thing, set it right in the chamber, and it will push that valve up so it's equal to the other side. So now we can get everything lined up. And that's what you gotta do. When you're bringing this down, kind of push on your springs to get these things closer to where you want them, so that once you get them compressed, you got room to put on your actual valve lock. All right, let's start putting our locks on. Little smear of grease to hold the locks in place. So I just put just a really small amount of grease in the lock. Here we go. Always hand start your tool mounting bolts with your fingers. That thing does not have to be very, you're gonna want a tool that compresses two at a time. Either buy or build you a tool that will compress two at a time, because it makes it so much easier. Sometimes the very bottom coil of the spring will kind of make it set kind of wonky, so you got to kind of mess with it. I'm not saying it'll always do that, but it can do it. Like right here, it's giving me a hard time. And these springs are pretty stout. They don't let you over compress them, that's for sure. And see, these stupid bead locks, man, sometimes because of the way they're made, you got to look at them really close to see which way is up. So we'll get this thing into its here. Now here's a good thing. If it drops down just a little too far before you get it where you want it, I'm not sure if that thing's in there or not. Yeah, it is. Once you get it into its groove, it'll spin. You can spin it around, and then you'll have a good shot to get your next one on. Make sure we got our fat side up. I don't usually get to show cylinder head assembly. I don't want to say get to, but I usually don't show cylinder head assembly. Always go slow in the initial portions. When you first go to release that tension up onto those locks, make double sure that you're going slow and verifying that your retainer is accepting those locks. Put these on there. Get them started. Good weight loss program for a fat boy, I guess. See, that's plenty tight. You just gotta seat it. Just gotta seat it. Drop your spring in. Grab a couple of retainers. want to try to get them as centered over that valve as you can. That way you don't fight as much. All right, guys, sorry about that. My dog was trying to take over the world and wanted to sit back there and make a ton of noise, but I went ahead and got the last 2 valve springs installed. Got everything seated in. These are the Comp 918 beehives. Factory, I think it was off of a Corvette retainer. I went ahead and went with aftermarket bead locks, and that's on the factory LS1 takeout 2-inch intake valves and aftermarket, I think they're Renegade, full one-piece stainless steel 1.57 exhaust. So there is the process of assembling the cylinder head after you've already spent the time and done all the work to make sure that they're going to be at the 1/800 installed height that your valve springs recommend, so that you can get the spring pressures and the valve train stability that you want to turn more RPM. So appreciate you guys watching these videos. Hopefully it's a little bit informative. I tried to do a little bit different format today where I could show working on a cylinder head or doing some kind of work instead of just talking about it. So please like, subscribe, share, hit that little bell. By all means, please hit the little bell. Give me some constructive criticism or give me some compliments, whatever you seem is appropriate. Thanks again for watching.